This is something that I probably needed to listen to a few years ago and probably still need to listen to now, but this is not going to be some scientifically backed routine or anything like that. This is what I have found to work for me as far as relaxing. And just for context, this is not a video for the people that relax too much. This is for the type A personalities that work too hard, um, or constantly feel like they're not enough and they need to compensate by working harder and harder and harder. This is for you. This is what I've figured out about myself, and it's worked decently well, I'd say, as far as getting myself out of work and into a mental space of just being more relaxed, being more calm, being chilled out without worrying and constantly stressing about being busy and doing more work. So let's talk about it. The first principle was, this is something I'm going to steal from Alex Hormozy, but it's to extend your frame of work and recovery, right? So most people try to have work-life balance in the span of a day. So they go to work for 8 hours or however long, and then they come home, and then at home, that's their life balance, right? The reason why that doesn't work is because it's very volatile, right? Sometimes you have to stay in later, sometimes you have to work overtime, sometimes things go wrong and you need to deal with them, and that affects both your work and your life. And so there's never a way to have just perfect balance. It's always going to be imbalanced no matter how hard you try, because it's on such a short time span, right? In 24 hours, a lot can happen. But if you're able to extend your perception of your perception of work and play into a longer time horizon, so I'm saying weeks or if not months, sometimes people even do years, then you essentially allow yourself the freedom to actually relax whenever you should relax, right? Instead of trying to squeeze it in to the span of a day or a few hours, you're giving yourself a longer trajectory, right? And so what does this look like? If you're doing it on a weekly basis, it would be a few weeks on and then like a week off. So you can think about it like, out of the month, you work really, really hard and have very little so-called life or play as a part of the balance in your life. And it's more just about work. Like work basically becomes your life for those 3 weeks. And then once you have been through those 3 weeks, and you've went pedal to the metal, absolutely grinded, focused, disciplined, showed up every day and did the work. You have made progress, I'd hope, within these 3 weeks. And then it's okay to just stop for a second for like maybe a few days or a week to just zone out, zoom out, take a break, recover, and relax. And so it's still the same amount of time. If you like really look at it, it'll add up to the same amount of time of so-called balance with your work and play. You'll still get the same amount of time in, but the effectiveness and the potency of the work and the life balance is a lot more tangible, right? You're not just lying to yourself and saying, oh yeah, I have a balanced life because I work 16 hours a day and I go to the gym and that's it. Like, instead of lying to yourself about having balance, instead you actually have balance because you've extended it on a long enough time period where you're not feeling the pressure of squeezing in balance at every single possible little crevice you can. Instead, you're literally, it's like blocking out a schedule in a calendar. You're scheduling blocks within like weeks or months of taking a break from your work and then also working, right? So it's not, there's a difference between scheduling out your day and scheduling out your month. And I feel like a lot of people can find a lot of freedom on their calendars by scheduling things in terms of weeks and months, right? Instead of having daily to-dos on their calendar, just like spread it out across the entire week, right? I know that might be difficult to do within your context, but there are things within your calendar that you can spread across a longer time horizon that you just haven't really thought of yet. So look for those things on your calendar that you kind of try to squeeze in during the day that is kind of just like unnecessary. It's kind of extra. You don't really need to be forcing that in there. Maybe it's actually not even worth it to do it every day because you're just not getting much out of it. It's just like a coping mechanism to feel productive. So literally just remove those things from your daily routine and just add it to like a longer, like a weekly or a monthly outlook on your calendar. And trust, it'll free up time on your day to day. There's obviously things you can't escape, like meetings and other things like that, right? But you can still find ways to extend out these so-called blocks of work and life. So do that. The next principle is to don't half-ass the break. So type A personality, you work really hard, and then whenever people tell you to, oh, just relax, take a break, recover, you go recover for like a however long it takes, right? Let's say if we're being completely honest, it's recovery in the context of a day, which is what most people do, and it's like going to the gym and then like reading a book before bed. That's their idea of life, of relaxing, and that's okay. That's a good start. That's probably where you will start. That's where I don't advise you to start because that's where I started, and that's how I've kind of evolved from just constantly working into the ground and then just passing out at the end of the day. Instead of just working, start to actively make it a priority to recover. Make it a priority to relax, right? If you reframe relaxation as a tool that helps to make you even more effective, right? If you view recovery and relaxation and rest and breaks as a tool that makes you better at doing the thing that you want to do, then you'll want to relax. You'll want to take a break. See, most people just view taking a break as this whole unproductive thing, as a waste of time, waste of energy, a waste of money, a waste of just like them, right? They feel like they should just be working because they're a machine. That they need to get output. They need to achieve, right? That's how I felt. That's how you probably feel, and you just need to reframe recovery as a thing that helps you get there faster, right? You think about yourself as an athlete, right? You can start to believe that you're not gonna achieve something whenever you're just constantly working and not taking a break, because then you're just burning out. You're giving yourself a huge opportunity to burn out without ever recovering. And if you look at that from an athlete's perspective, that looks like injuries, cramps, all the things that prevent you from actually doing the thing, from playing the sport, from showing up and doing the work. So you can eventually even get to this dangerous stage where you are literally working yourself into the ground because you haven't prioritized your time off, and like when you burn out, it's literally nearly impossible to bring yourself to work. And if you somehow manage to, the work is like half the potential output, right? It's half of your usual output. So it's like not even worth doing at that point. It's a waste of time. And so you need to prioritize and realize how important recovery actually is. It's literally a stage of the work, right? It's the same way you can view preparation, right? If like before you actually do something, if you spend the time preparing for it, it's a stage of the work. It's not like this thing that is so disconnected from the work that that it makes you feel lazy. No, it's actually a part of the work, right? Recovery is a stage within the life cycle of working and doing great things. It's like a thing that you have to do. And when you reframe it that way, it makes it a lot easier to recover and relax, because honestly, if you're being completely honest, you start to get diminishing returns once you've worked for long enough. And those diminishing returns are, not gonna really get you that far. So you might as well spend that time recovering. So how do you actually recover? This doesn't need to be like like buying a ticket to go to fucking the Maldives or something. It's literally you can do this anytime, anywhere. Like take a nap, go for a walk, read a book, go out. I don't know, like go for a hike, go outside, right? You don't need to do anything crazy. Just find something that you enjoy doing outside of your work and do it more on a longer time horizon and start to prioritize within your calendar that recovery is a stage of the work. It's a stage of the performance. And when you reframe it that way, it becomes a hell of a lot easier to relax. Goodbye.